Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a custom lighting setup. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the UDN and go to their custom lighting page here. And what we're going to do is try to replicate this screen here. What this is it's the default phong lighting setup, but set up through custom lighting. So I'll show you what I mean. And then from there, we can go on and edit it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go to New Material. And you can put it wherever you want, but I've got a package called Custom Lighting. I'll call it Custom Lighting Material, or mat. Okay. Okay, and like I say, we're going to try to duplicate what it showed there. So the first thing we're going to do is see where it says lighting model. You're going to take that and switch it to custom. Okay. Now, like I say, we're just going to try to duplicate what it shows here. So first we'll work on diffuse. And you're going to want a light vector. Dot product. And we're going to go the light vector to the dot product, and then we're going to put in a constant 3 vector for right now. And this is going to be representative of our normal map, and I'll show you as we go along here. Okay, so to start out with, I just kind of put some values in here. This is going to be kind of sort of close to being like a neutral normal map, and the dot product, if you don't know what that is, you'll learn about it in your calculus class, or you can go look it up on the internet here. What it really means doesn't really matter to us right now. All that we really want is what it's going to mean to us, and I'll kind of explain it as we go along here. Okay, so we got the light vector and the normal map with the dot product, and we're going to clamp that down and then add a multiply node. So clamp. Okay, then press M and click to get a multiply node. Oop, M and click. Okay. And then we're going to have our diffuse texture, which again for now I'll just put in, we'll put in the constant 1 vector. You can press 1 and click. And I'll give it a value of 1. And I forgot to type in, this is our normal. Okay, and I think that's it for our diffuse. So I'm going to select all these, add a comment. Okay. Now we're going to work on the specular section over here. You can actually copy these first 2 sections here. Just Control-C, Control-V. And then you want a reflection vector. And I think you clamp this down as well. Okay, then you want a power. Power and multiply. Okay, so and we'll add another constant 1 vector by pressing 1 and click. That's going to be the exponent. That's going to be our base. And this is going to be our specular power. I'll give it a value of 50. Add another multiply node, M and click. Another constant 1 vector by 1 and click. And this is going to be our specular. I'll give that a value of 1. Select all of these, new comment, specular. Okay, now you just add these together, plug them into custom lighting. Okay, now there's just one last thing we need to do, and that is take our diffuse and also plug it into custom lighting diffuse. And that is our custom lighting. This is basically recreating phong lighting, which would be this one here, the default. Okay, so this is the lighting setup then for a default phong material, right? Now the thing is, you don't use the diffuse and the specular and things like that anymore, the normal map. You don't use them there anymore. You actually set them all up in here. So what I'm going to do is grab a texture sample here, and I'm going to get rid of this diffuse and plug this diffuse straight in. So this is my new diffuse. I'll do the same with my normal map here. Okay, and then bring this down here again. For this particular material, they just use the specular from the red channel, and then bring the specular power down to 5. Now what I've got here is the material that you just saw is on this carrot and this crazy carrot bottle here. These are both the custom materials that I just made. So, and you can see that my version of the phong material and their version of the phong material is effectively exactly the same, right? Okay, so I wanted to quickly describe kind of the meaning behind some of these things real quick. The light vector is going to be the direction that the light is going in, like the direction that the light is traveling in, and it's going to take the dot product of that in your normal map. So that's how it determines basically the light shaded part of it. And it's going to take that and clamp it down to make sure that it's between a value of 0 and 1 like it's supposed to be, and multiply it by the diffuse. So your diffuse can be just about anything here. So anyways, it's going to multiply it, and then it's going to add it to the specular, and the specular does something kind of similar here. It's going to take these to be able to collect where the shine should be, and it's going to clamp that down like it's supposed to. Then it's going to take it to the power, and it's going to say take it to an exponent, so that's basically going to be like how sharp it is, right? So then I can make this like 100, and you can see the point gets even smaller. Well, if I make it like 5, it's going to make the point bigger. It's kind of hard to tell because of the material I have selected right now, but anyways, and it's going to multiply that by the specular, so this could be any color or any texture or anything like that. It's going to just simply add them together and plug it into custom lighting. Custom lighting diffuse then is going to be basically what the dark side looks like. So I'll show you this again. You can turn it off and there's nothing there at all, or you can turn it back on and then it's going to be whatever you have put in there. So now the whole point of creating a custom material though is that you want to be able to edit it and alter it so that it doesn't look like normal phong. So I'm going to go ahead and alter my phong real quick. So what I'm going to do is drag these out here. I'm going to get a seal, which is for sealing. And what that's going to do is it's going to take any value and push it up to the, it's going to round up basically. So if you have like 1.1, it's going to round it up to 2. It's always going to round up. See, and so that's going to make like a solid, you know, a solid jump from one to the other. We don't really want it to go in one step though, so I'm actually going to first multiply it here and then divide it. You'll see how this works in a second here. Okay, so we're going to multiply and then plug it into the seal and then divide it again. And we're going to multiply it and divide it by however many steps we want it to take. So if you want it to go in 2 steps, you can't really see the effect yet, but if I push it up to like 4, you can see now where it goes from dark to light, it's going to take 4 steps to get there. So instead of a nice steady blend, it's going to step from one to the next. And you can see like on the edge of the bottle here, or you can see how this works. Okay, and there's one other thing I want to do. I don't like how the shadow on the back is, it's just kind of dull. So what I want to do actually is, you remember how the custom light diffuse is the shadow part? What I want to do is make it so that the outside edge is always black. So we're going to add a Fresnel. And a Fresnel is basically, it takes just the outside edge, basically. It's going to be based on like how the polygons are angled and things like that. We're going to change the exponent way up to 150, and we're gonna actually use a seal on this one also. Then we're gonna clamp it down. And we're gonna multiply it by our diffuse. And then we're going to plug all this into the custom lighting diffuse. And, ooh, I forgot a crucial step. Hold on a second here. I want to actually take a 1 minus. Because what it's doing right now is the Fresnel comes out white. So it's gonna say we just want the outside edge and we want it white. So instead I'm gonna, oh, got the wrong one there. Take a 1 minus. So it's gonna say 1 minus that white, which will basically invert it. You'll see what I mean here. See, so now the outside edge is always black, and we'll take a look and see what it did to the caret. See, so you can see it just adds a bit more definition to the shadow. Okay, so lastly, I just want to kind of look at these in action. This is with a Sobel edge detection on. You can find a tutorial on that on the UDN. And yeah, here we go. So this is just supposed to be kind of a little bit of like a toon shader effect. And lastly, I wanted to have you meet my friend here. So there you go.